Hey gorgeous. Look, I'm wondering whether you know that feeling of being completely overtired and overworked, completely overwhelmed, that you feel like you just can't wait to get to Friday evening and just lock yourself in a room that's completely dark with no sounds, no sights, nothing around you to bother you. Or maybe you get to the weekend and then you're physically afflicted by something like headaches or migraines or even a cold or a flu on a regular basis. I'm Chris Bocconi from Lit Up Women Leaders, and I'm here to talk to you today about how all of this overworked and overtiredness can actually impact your personal brand, what it's doing to impair you from being able to promote yourself in your best light. So I want to share with you a case study of a recent client of mine. And this person came to me in a state of real flurry. There was so much going on for her. She'd become a manager who would change her decisions from one conversation to the next with her direct reports. She'd forget what had been agreed to by the team in team meetings. She became someone who was so hyper-vigilant on how she wanted things done, yet so uncertain from one conversation to the next as to what she wanted done. Now, her employer actually approached me showing due care and concern for her because this really bothered him that someone was in such a state like this. And when she first came to me, in our first session, she sat down and she wrote a list, 5 pages long, of all the things that were wrong for her in her life, everything that she was unhappy about, everything from her mother-in-law calls too often to there's someone out to get me, and everything in between. And the state that this puts you in, that hypervigilant state, that constantly anxious state, can cause a downward spiral that eventually leads to madness. You cannot sustain that sort of chaos and turmoil that's going on in your brain without it having some sort of impact on your mental capacity. So here's the thing. When we are in that sort of state, what we need to do is take a step back and really break things down. So one of the things that I did with her was to help her to see another person's perspective. And this is a really great thing for you to do. What we want to do is we want to set our expectations and boundaries for the people around us. But before we do that, we kind of need to clear the slate and take a back step and take a bit of a breath. So what we do is we detach ourselves from the particular situation. And I asked her to write another list that basically was all the things that were right about her life. And she mentioned things that were way off in the past, not anything in her recent past or her current life, which was really sad because what that means is you then can't put yourself forward in your best light. You can't promote your personal brand in a way that people want to be around you, that people want to listen to you, that people want to support you and do great work for you and with you and want to be there on your team, on your project. You can't do that. You can't present your brand in that way if you're someone that has trouble seeing almost the forest for the trees or has trouble seeing what's great around you. So when we set very clear boundaries and expectations for what we want of people and how we want people to treat us, it causes us to also walk the talk and then treat other people the same way. What happens, what we understand of neuro-linguistic programming or NLP, the fundamental principles of NLP tell us that when you can speak something out, only then can you have it. So for you to be able to set those clear boundaries and expectations with other people, you need to first be clear in your mind as to what they are. Then you need to explain them to other people and why you need to set these boundaries and these expectations. And then you'll be able to reap the rewards of that. And certainly, as I mentioned earlier, it causes us to walk the talk. And so we become someone who holds ourselves accountable to those same boundaries and expectations. But really, that's where it starts. And then once you start to develop that persona of someone who holds yourself and the others around you to those boundaries and expectations, people will start to sit up and take notice of you and take you seriously and consider your thoughts. because they know that your thoughts have been formed over a period of time when you're not under stress, people will start to listen to you when you speak. They'll start to get on board with your ideas and your projects. They'll start to be your advocate, your champion. They'll start to come to you for advice rather than running in fear. And so part of the process of getting this particular client of mine from that 5 pages of everything that was wrong with her life to being again the person, the leader that people wanted to approach and seek out for guidance and support, because she was a role model and a mentor for younger people in the firm, then getting her to that state meant really taking a step back and asking her to just get rid of everything on that list that wasn't making her happy. Then, with what was left, we needed to really set some clear boundaries and expectations as to, for instance, when she could spend time with her son, when she could spend time with her husband. She'd gotten herself to a point where she and her husband were like civil flatmates. And when she got home from work, she actually couldn't stand being in the same room as her 12-year-old son, because he was starting to suffer separation anxiety because she was never home. She was working 60, 70 hours a week. So getting people to understand what you're experiencing through being overworked and overtired can go a long way to help you to set those boundaries about, well, when I get home, let's just spend 10 minutes unpacking separately, alone, before we come together and start to talk about our day. Boundaries and expectations like that can really help for you to be able to be your best self when you are speaking, when you are presenting, when you are in front of people, when you are collaborating, when you are delegating, when you are engaging with people. And it's the same in your personal life as in your professional life. So there it is. I hope that provides some insight for you. That particular case study is one that I see commonly in women who are overworked, overstressed, and overtired, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I just wanted to drop in and give you some information as to how you can start to unpack that and start to be clear and aware of things like setting boundaries and expectations. If this has been of value to you, I would love to see you in my upcoming free 5-day challenge, Reignite Your Mojo. And it starts Monday, the 29th of June. I'm going to pop a link below this video and I would love to see you there. Bye-bye.